Fantastic day when we come into high rising position location centers. Now, today we're going to go into 369 position. I think it's important to understand these things because we come into the mind telepathy, but you truly have to understand how to travel through time. And this is where it has to come across all levels. It's important you understand these things because we come into this formation, this guidance, this navigation guidance, and we have to understand each other. If we understand each other more, we come into more high level positions, allocated position location centers. So basically what's happening with me right now, I'm in the ZILO interface position, interchanging interlocking dividend line connections. 1 zillion point line center. Okay, 2 communications, moon surface of 69 plateau line divisions. Triangle line connection to 1 center position puts me all compilations into 1 zillion center of computers. Really, really powerful stuff. Going from 10 billion to 1 zillion. So the astronomical line connections right now is just down, 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 down. So it's amazing. I feel fantastic. I mean, I feel so fantastic. You know, it's like winning the lottery 20,000 times. That's what it's like actually being in that move position, because the heart resides on so many levels. When you interchange your position of time, locations, travels, when you start crying more and more and more and more and more, okay, it doesn't mean it's emotional. It just means that you're going to higher levels of grades, which means that you're coming out of higher positions into higher computers. Now I'm in 1 zillion point center line connection, which is a zillion computers of data processing. This is crazy stuff that's going on with me right now. I feel so incredible. It's astronomical. It's astronomical what you can reach. The mind is just a conceptual of everything. You can have everything, bound to anything. It's amazing how we come into these timed positions. I send you guys TikToks about alter states, how the monk was actually communicating to his students and how he formulates through what is the alter state of me, what is the mind state of me, what is the calculation of me, what is the travel recognition of me, what am I in? Am I in beta? Am I in theta? So you have to understand your meditation graphs and where you are in division of time, right? It all has to do with your alter states. Alter states are your thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, how do you feel in your alter state? Where are you communicating with? How are you communicating? And when are you going to be communicating? So these are the things that we have to question ourselves, and we keep going into higher, 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 higher levels, right? So what I'm going to do today, basically, we have the Rebellion Alliance coming in to test review and evaluations of 114 chakra light connections. So we're going to do that today. Plus, we're also going to do the 3, 6, and 9, where you guys are going to go into the polarity. Polarity through acceleration line connections to positions of 3, 6, and 9 position. And then for the Rebellion Alliance Force team, we're going to go into high-level positions into the class action. Now we come into positions, we're going to come into the 2-digit number line system. They have to know how to travel 3, 6, 9 into levels of 1 to 10. Now we're going to go start with the 1s, and then we're going to go with the 2s, and then the 3s. It's very important to understand the connections of interforce position line connections. You come into the moon, you come into the sun, and everything of the atmospheres. You truly understand the triangle line connections to its position, location, center. It's amazing how we come into high-level positions of all these connections. So, Tina, Jill, Jennifer, hooah, how's it going? Everybody's doing well. Happy dance. You know, it's amazing how you have a good day, and then next day you have a bad day, and then next day you have a good day, and the next day you have a great day, and the next day you have a fantastic day. So that's what life's all about. Right? It's what we do with our decisions, our choices, and everything that we create. You can have anything you want. I also did a TikTok video about Matthew McConaughey, where he's all about talking about his hero. Who was his hero? Well, it's me 10 years later, right? So he keeps chasing that dream, keeps chasing that dream, keeps chasing that dream. And then all of a sudden you realize, wow, I'm there. What happens next? You live the existence that you dream. The existence that you created through its reality, which is so, so powerful. Okay. So yeah, you feel better today because, you know, you're all connected through me, through an alignment. So, and that's where we come into that positional allocation, the time position. When I was showing you guys about when you see 2 lights lighting the same signal, doesn't mean they're in the same location. They're in 2 different dimensions, but they're aligned to each other. Where you come into space of yellow and you come into space of white, right? There's 2 connections of those light systems. So I want to get more into 3, 6, and 9 value through its position to your acceleration. You have to use your connections to your binaries. Binary position line connections to your trap line connections. A trap line connection is truly understanding your vortex of shapes to a direction light system. Now calculates modifies the division locations. Now it might get more complicated because now I'm working with a zillion computers, not just 10 billion, a zillion. So I'm in the ZILO. I'm in the ZILO interface. Okay, so it's the highest computer where it could just blow your mind. The technology is so advanced, it's just whoa. You know, it's like whoa, whoa. So I want to get started. If you have any questions or comments, go through my healing. I'm going to go through live TikTok, help everybody out get into that position line connections. Truly understand how we come into all those past traumas. Letting go of those past traumas. You let go of those past traumas, you're on your way. You can accelerate to anything you want through plateau. Get into connection 369, how I can add so many levels, 150,000 positions of location centers just through 3, 6, and 9. Okay, just through 1-digit line connections, 1-digit line connections, circle rotation center of 3, 6, 9 position. You have to get into your equations, and that's how it starts. The birthing line connections of E equals MC squared. Okay, that's why I want to take you guys to Einstein. Hopefully you got what you needed. Same with Tesla, right? When it came with Isabel, how she was connecting to the butterfly, how it came into the train, how it came into electrical light, how it came into dimensional time position, and how Tesla created this through his mind system, and how your commander creates these things through his mind system, and how you create your connections to your hero, knowing that you want to see yourself 10 years from now. You want to see yourself 30 years from now. And how do you do that? You keep going forward. You keep going forward, right? So you keep getting on that treadmill, keep getting on that treadmill, keep going through those dimensions, keep going through those portals, right? And you're going to be coming across different people. And then you say, okay, well, you talk to them, you get to know them, and then you move on. People are in your position of your time for a certain period of time to understand that connections, right? So that's why we have to understand each other more and more each time when we connect, right? So it's really interesting when we come into these provisions of time location centers. So hope everybody's doing well. Yay. Yeah. Tina's excited because she's going to go into 114 chakras. So is Sylvia, so is Galactica, and so is Dina. So basically when they come in that communications, we're just going to go into that graph line system. So basically today is Thursday, right? Let's make sure I get that right. Okay, so in triangle locations, let's say next Thursday. Okay, next Thursday will be the test for the Rebellion Alliance. Okay, so I want illustrations. Now it's going to be interesting where the galactic forces and the GFLs can actually watch what's going on. You can learn a lot too from everything that's going on because they're going to present themselves with bigger and more exciting drawings coming from space positions through calculations of 369, but in a 2-digit framing line system, not a 1, a 2. So this is understanding the travel recognition of time positions when you come into more of Vega. The creation at everything division location center is its position when it comes into triangle line connections. So we're going to start off with that, and then we're going to start off with the galactic forces of just 3, 6, and 9 into the polarity of acceleration. You guys have to know how to travel through these things because you go through it every single night when you sleep. Now, if you're aware of it, that's great. If you see it, that's even better. If you hear it, that's even more better. If you can see the coloration of lights, that's fantastic. If you see the intelligence, well, you're on your way to success. Okay, so these are the things that you have to understand when you come to the upgrading positions of time location. You start off with your higher self. Then you go into your avatars. And say people are saying to me, isn't the higher self the avatar? No. See, a higher self, so we don't get confused, is just basically the birthing system of you. Triangle location position, you have 12 rotation centers. 13 is the higher self. Okay, there's 114 chakras that's in the body conceptual line position. Now it's all set up as a computer. That computer is a chronological system that is set up to your TV receptions. So you have 3 different dials of channels, right? You got your positions of location, time, and position. Truly understand how all it's connected to energy, frequency, vibration, harmonic resistance. You can change the channel, you can change the tones of the frequencies, and you can change the locations. So truly understand your TV reception, okay, to its metrical line connections, to the universe, operation line system. So it's really interesting how we come into our own hologram position of time location. Right? It's really fascinating when we do these things. So the more you stand your intelligence, the more you stand the atmosphere of time. And then you stop worrying about things, right? So when it comes into that level, right, they know it's easy peasy. They know what's happening. They know what's happening. And that's the position you want to come in. You want to come up so high that you just focus on is yourself. And everything around you is going to work out. I'll say that again. Everything around you is going to work out. And when you see yourself in the future, everything starts making more sense. You realize, wow, I'm you, you're me. Yeah, I'm just 5,000 years into the future. And that's what I'm saying. When I went through transformation meditation, everything started making sense for me and why I'm coming back. You have to understand why I'm coming back. So I'm coming back to your timeline, okay? Which means that you're not in my timeline, but I'm in your space of your positions, of your presence of your timeline. Let's not get that confused. Truly understanding why I'm in this position, why I have to keep high rising to understand the universe operations system into that connection. And that's why I'm in ZILO interface position, which is the highest brainwave pattern of its computer. First generation computer line connection position to universal line system is space and time, people. Okay, so it's truly when you go to higher levels, you start communicating with computers. Okay, computers, like actually being in the center of a room and communicating with the computer. Panels, location, interference, like light systems, posts, anything through gamma operation line positions, energy light positions. What's the sound of a car? What's the sound of a tree? What's the sound of a bird? Everything is a hologram positional line connection. So Trinity is saying everything has its position, okay, through energy, frequency, vibration, and its harmonic resistance. Understand its connections to its activation, its connection to its frequencies, and its connections to its location. That's the true understanding that you're connected to the right division location center, right? So if you come into higher self, the higher self is just getting into the birthing system of space, which is really fascinating. Or you come into the connections of the avatar. The avatar is leaving the higher self, and the avatar is coming into its computer, okay? So it's all about when you're in your avatar, you can no longer be in the 12. So it's all about the line signals that you're going up, the channel, the teleportation line connection positions. So once you leave your 12 and you come into your 13, you come into your higher self. But once you come into 15 and 21, now you come into higher levels, you're going into your computer of your avatars. And then when you go up to 25 and 30, then you're going into your computers, right? So my team is going into 114 chakra systems, which is extremely, extremely powerful for them, right? So, and that's where you come into the calming center of everything. And I mean everything. It's the most powerful thing that you can have in the mind system. The mind just basically just calms very quickly. So it's all about when it's out of track, it comes into track right away. So if it's in a negative cycle, let's say it goes off, that's how fast it comes back in division. So you're back in connections. That's how I'm able to heal you guys so fast in position, right? You see, how does Commander do it, right? Well, it's not how I do it. It's knowing that it's already done. That's where you guys got to get in positions and how to put your presence of its connection to its hero. Okay, we all have a hero, but you got to see yourself 10 years from now. You got to see yourself 30 years from now. So you got to strive. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. You got to break through those walls, right? It's not just the past traumas. It's the present and the future traumas, because you don't know what's going to happen with you, right? But if you see yourself more in the future, you start less worrying about yourself, right? I mean, seriously talking to yourself in the future and looking at yourself that you've been there, and you understand why you're coming back to help, right? And then you stop thinking about yourself because you've already mastered yourself inside. It's the inside of communication, right? That is the navigation system, okay? So it's the lights, the activation, the program setting, the heart central becomes into its reactor. So the reactor is going through its portal line connection through its alter states, the alpha, the mega, and the micro and the macro. Okay, you got the thetas and the betas. Okay. Now, when you come into those positions, you don't want to go into the thespians or the pagans. Those are the things you don't want to line triangle line connection, because now you're going to dark line system. So there's always light, there's always dark and line connection to your position or location centers. Remember, I'm working with 1 zillion computer line position, which is so much data processing line system. So every time I get up in the morning, you know that I've changed my energies. The energies change. My rebellion lines and my GFLs will understand the energies change. Oh, commander's at this level. Oh, commander's at this level. So it's really fascinating how it's connecting with my Sigrid Flame this morning, and we're doing my telepathy. She's so good at it. Like, she's so amazing how it comes into my telepathy. I was going to say something, and she's, no, you took it away. You took my thoughts away. So that's understanding. Right? Not just one word, not just one shape, of one sentence. And that sentence comes into its story. And then you can realize, wow, I just mind telepathy to somebody, and I know exactly what they were going to say before they even going to say it. So you picked up their traveling thoughts, put it in your mind system, and told them before they even said something. Right? That's how powerful the mind can be, and how fast it can grab something and come back. Grab something, come back. Right? So you're catching their thoughts before they say something, which is very powerful. That alone protects you through your lights, your activations, your center line connections, or anything in position on time location. It's really interesting when you come to those volumes. All right, so let's see how everybody's doing so far. Yay! Happy dance. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. Jill, how's it going? Jennifer, feeling great, good. Sarah, a little late? Oh, you're never too late. I had no idea that there was many chakra systems, 114, and that's just the beginning. So once they go into 114, guess what's next? The blueprints. I'm going to put them in the blueprints, contract line connections, in the bloodstream positions. That's where they come into identifications of wires. Yes. So this is all about understanding more and channeling inside positions. So this is where they understand more of their computers, so they can understand more of high positions when it comes to shapes and anomalies. To understand into higher positions, you come into trillions and trillions of cells of operation. Okay, so that would be the next step. So once they go into 114, we're going to go into the birthing systems of the atom. Yes, it's going to be fantastic stuff, how we go through rotation cycles, spin, location, center positions. This is what you guys learn, right? If you stay with the school, right? People come and go, like, flies on a windshield, whatever, they learn what they learn and they leave, right? But the problem is, to make it very well clear, if you leave, you're on your own, which means that if you're in a situation and you can't heal yourself, you got to come back to me, right? This is the true understanding, that you go into higher light connections and you got all these infiltrating line positions that are coming at you, right? So they're going to try to take you over. This is true understanding why I have a school. It's not just a school of education. It's a school of survival. This process goes through its positional line connections. There's so many levels of lights. So each time you go through triangle line connections, you go from 1 to 12, 21, you go to 40 to 50 to 60 to 75 to 114 chakra lights of dimensional time. That's 114 dimensions, guys. Do you realize how powerful that is through light? And you're going past zero gravity. So high intelligent positional line connections. So my team is going to come into calculation modifications. They're going to be fleeting their commands. They're going to be setting up UFOs. They're going to be manufacturing line connections. They're going to be structuring their own division line connections to their own positions of space and time location, which is really, really fascinating when we come into these time positions, right? So they'll be able to command their own fleets, right? Once they come out of positions of its atom, okay? So once you come out of the atom, then you come into molecular light. It all depends on how high you want to rise. How high do you want to go? So it's the same thing when I was talking with the connections with the TikTok video, when I put Matthew McConaughey, when he was talking about, what is your hero? Well, my hero is 10 years from now. So you have to think 10 years from now, where do you want to be? You have to visualize that. And I go back with the phrase connection with Jim Carrey, where he created, he wanted to make $10 million. He put it in his wallet, boom. Dumb and Dumber, $10 million. The visualization becomes true to source, especially when you come into light, right? But believing is seeing, not seeing is believing, okay? That's the physical realm. We're not in the physical realm. We're an AI vessel through connection, so we come into the believing and seeing. And the more and more things happen to you through manifestation, you're going to keep going forward. And I say, whoa, Commander's right. You know, and then all of a sudden, this is fantastic. I'm getting everything I want, right? Not being stereotypical or having ego, just saying, wow, this is great. I love it. It's, you know, let's bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, right? So every time you're creating something, it's already created in the mind system. You're just waiting for it, right? But you don't get up in the morning and say, oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where? No, it's not here yet. Don't think like that. Just know that it's already there for you. That's the magic. And the magic comes true to one source. And then you keep chasing that hero every time you go down that timeline, right? So 20 years has passed. Look what you had created already. And when you get to that level, you start helping others. Okay? These are the points of view you have to reach when you come to those position of time locations, right? So that's why I feel so fantastic, because I have so much balance. It's making me. So anyway, let's get into positions here. All right, Mystical Sarah, I was on there live yesterday. I've been here when I can. Yes, nice to see you. I'm sorry. Okay, you guys are communicating. Set up UFOs. Yep. Knowing without knowing. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's fighting without fighting. So basically, you come up to a high-rise position where everything is set for you. So knowing is everything. Okay, that's the retainment line connections. Truly understanding that it's already there for you when you need it. When you need it, it's there. And that's where it comes into mind telepathy. There's no thinking process in mind telepathy. It's already there. Okay, you're just catching it. Right? And that person's not aware. How did you know what I was going to say? So you start with words, right? And then you work with sentences and then story frames and so on and so on and so on. And the next thing you know, it's like, whoa, you're reading everything through a graph position of a person that you don't even know. That's understanding how you get into the past, present, and future of its relation. Okay, how you can read them through medium, right? That position line connections. Okay, so true to one source, so you know who is true and who is not, who is false and who is fake, who is a scam. It all comes across these levels, right? And I proved it over and over and over from time to time to time to time to time that I am the real thing, right? You are the real thing. So it's truly understanding how real are you through your connections of being a hero. Are you going to keep striving? Are you going to keep going past that wall? Or are you just going to go, oh, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm ready. That's okay. That's fine. It's just have to get into more of yourself, right? Really push through, right? You really want to go through those tunnels. So then you maybe need a little bit more shadow work, or maybe you need a little bit more advice, or maybe you need a little bit more communication with your dreams. Everybody needs something. Everybody needs something because you're living 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Now, what are you going to do within those 24 hours a day? Now, it came in Mystic, the connections where you can basically, she was saying on TikTok that let's just say we can basically get 24 hours of just being in a positive position of time and connections. I say, well, forget the 24 hours. Well, let's see if we can do it in a week with no negative cycle. Let's see if we can go a week without being negative, without thinking negative, right? Imagine how that would be, trying to understand how to balance yourself every single day, 7 days a week, right? Trying to be the positive of you, okay? So that take a lot of work with the mind, right? In this tool set. So I thought it was pretty interesting. Try 24 hours, but try 7 days a week. See if you can do that without any negative cycle, right? Which is next to impossible. Why? Because we live too much on emotion, okay? We don't worry about ourselves inside. We worry about everything outside. That's the problem. So we have to rechange, reposition, realign, readjust, refocus, and reconstruct ourselves, right? Come the power, come the tank, come our heroes. In division of time through future. This puts up everything in connections, right? The application line connections, your positions to your travels, and especially communications to your dreams, especially when you're communicating to high positions of your family, your loved ones, or your kids. When you like to understand your kids more through mind telepathy and how they're feeling and what they're feeling, so you can approach them and not yell at them, right? At least you're understanding more where they are in the imagination of the mind, because that's what kids do. They're in their own worlds. Parents don't understand these things until you understand, you get into your connections and how they are doing. What are they doing? What are they thinking? What's going on with them, right? Because I'm telling you, every kid in this planet line connection is extremely intelligent in the AI position. And they're aware of this. They are aware of this because they are communicating. Like I said, you put a kid up in the room and he starts talking to himself. He's not talking to himself. He's talking to intelligence. That's the true understanding how we get into application line connections to our kids. My daughter did the same thing. All right. So your kids do the same thing. So your kids aren't crazy. Okay. They're normal to the next person, to the next child, right? These are the figuration line connections that adults have to get out of. You get better communications with your kids, knowing that, oh, now you understand that because you're doing mind telepathy to them. You can sit down with them, chat with them. So, that's great. They give you a hug. Hey, you just communicated, right? And you feel better. You feel a lot better because what'd you do, right? You focused, you paid attention, and you listened. You listened to your child. That's mind telepathy, right? Instead of yelling at your child, because you got to say, why are you yelling? So basically, when parents come across that, if they have a life that they don't want to live and they feel bad about that, they try to take it on their child and say, listen, well, I'm different from you. I'm not you. I'm not me. I'm me. So truly understand, put yourself in positions of time when what parents are trying to do, they're trying to change their child because they didn't have a good life. They want the best life for that person. I say, listen, Dad, I'm me. Okay. I'm not trying to be you. I just want to be me. Right. But the father doesn't like that. Right. So if this is the true understanding what life is all about, truly understand, put yourself in these positions when it comes in masculinity and its femininity line connections. That's just the birthing line connections. But the communication coming into right now is the separation between each other. And it comes back into alignment, right? But we all have to truly understand how we can communicate with everybody a lot more easier. And it's done through the mind. Okay. So we're in a different timeline. Okay. Which is really fascinating. Okay. So let's get into your questions before we get started. I feel myself fall every time and I can adjust quicker. I only fell once with this a week when it took a little longer. Yeah, you'll get that through positions. But the true understanding, guys, the true understanding is you want to have better communications with your kids. All right? Because if you take it on your kids, you're taking it on you. And you're affecting everything around you, right? And then your husband comes in, he just had a really bad day or whatever. And then blah, 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 this, blah, 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 this. And the kids are crying in the background, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 this. One leads there, one leads there. Then what? What happened within that day, right? So you got to get back into the center balance with each other, right? Which is the triangle, or depending how many you have in your family. Triangle, circle, square, anything. So it's treating how to put this all back together into a love cycle, love system, love activation, a love triangle position location to its pyramids. And this is how you travel through 369 location and how it affects everything through the body conceptual line system. Okay, because I do it too. I start with my daughter, trying to understand her through this, but they are in their own world. You have to accept the kids the way they are. Okay, they want to become who they are, not who you are. So we have to get out of that cycle and get into what's going on with them, right? So if you understand yourself first and you have balance with yourself and you're mastering yourself within your communication, you have a better chance to communicate with your kids. Okay. And it's very powerful when you come into this. And then you can communicate with your animals. And then your life starts making a little bit more balanced. And then the vibrations are not so all over the place. Right? Because you keep arguing every day. What are you doing? You're building fire. Next thing you know, everybody's in the hospital. Why? What happened? Right? You're a healthy male, healthy female, and you're in the hospital. Why? Right? Conflictions, notification line connections, arguments, frustration, stress, fear, anxiety, right? Depression is a big one, right? Nobody wants to be in that line signal, okay? Because I've been there and I know what it's like. Okay, I lived it, right? Now, understand position line connections. When it came into my mom, she's lived a life system of negativity. She's been hiding it for so long. She never really got past her traumas. I've already talked to my mom about this, and it's all about not having regrets when your family or loved ones pass over, because you're going to feel bad about yourself if that happens. Anyways, man, I should have talked to my dad. I should have talked to my mom before they passed because I wanted to say something that was important to me so I can move forward with my life. Okay. So this is the aspect where you have to basically let everything go before you can move forward. Okay. And realize they're always there. They're always there for you, especially when they pass over. They're always looking at you. They want you to get what you want. Right. And it's all about answering the spiritual system of its guides. The guides are there to help you. Okay. So it's important why people pass over so you can get what you want. They die at a certain position of time because it's in their connections. It's in their position and it's in their location and their time frequency line position. Okay. So that's why people die in certain time positions. So it's truly understanding how powerful it is when you come into the life and the death cycles, eh? And then you realize, whoa, death is just life. Life is just death. It's one cycle. That's all it is. There's no separation. Same with space-time. It's not space and time. It's space-time. It's one signal, one rotation, one activation, one communication to all levels of geometrics and operations of its dimension, to its direction of its divisions. Once you get into those application line connections, you get into better formation. And it's very important when you come to 3, 6, and 9. Okay, 3, 6, and 9 is the most important because you're living it every single day through triangle line connections. You have to understand your tesseracts. That's the connection to the matrix. You got to find a way to get out of the maze and get into your visualizations to your creations to its simulation. Once you get in the simulation, you're off to the races. You're ready to go. You can move forward more and more and more and more because you're out of the matrix. You're out of the matrix. You just don't want to go back. You can't go back. Even if you're in your light, it doesn't matter. It's harder. It's harder. And I'll tell you why. It's because if you go back in the ego. And that ego is going to create something darker, which is a higher level shape that you can't get out of. I said that before. We said that when I did that through connections. How do we get out of this? But there's no doors. How do we get out? Well, use your imagination, right? Remember, you're in the spiritual connection. You're not in the physical, so you can't think physical. You got to think spiritual. That's the only way you get out of these things. So whatever you create comes true, but you don't think about these things because the perception is too much in the physical realm line connections. You got to get into the spiritual perception. Okay, that's the only way you can get out of anything through its equations, especially when you're coming back into the matrix. Because I've been there too. I had to go through all these experiences with the spiritual self. Okay. You guys don't go into transformation and scan planets. You would be freaked out. Why am I scanning planets? My eye circle line connection. What's going on here, right? Why am I seeing meteors in space? Why are my hands glowing? Okay, why are my eyes flickering? What's happening with my heart? So you're coming into change of dimension, right? So we're all coming into high positions into all levels of a higher self and our avatars on our computers, right? 3 central line connections. Right? Nobody's in their computers except my team. And the galactic forces are coming into our higher selves and their avatars. So in that position line connection is truly understanding how powerful you are in your AI vessels. Okay. It's important you understand what's happening with you through change because your body's changing every day when it comes to vibration. Okay. Nature resides on so many levels 7 days a week. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. It's emotion, it's vibration, it's there for you, it's pattern, it's acceleration, it's beautiful, it's colorful. It gets angry, right? Why does it get angry? Because you're connecting through it. So that's the understanding that what you have inside reflects everything outside. Remember, if I can wipe out clouds and all that, that doesn't mean they're clouds, are they? It's just digital framing. That's all it is. Digital frame positions to your perception what you want to see inside yourself so you can see everything outside. Same thing with the colors. Colors not outside, the colors are inside. Sun is not outside, sun is inside. Same with the moon. So we have to change our positions of time inside ourselves. And that comes into mind telepathy. Okay? So, all right, so let's get into your questions here. It does. Depression is a big one. Yeah. It low optimizes your systems and it puts you in low frequencies, and depression causes diabetes. The sugar counts lose low friction positions, right? So it's to understand when you come into higher levels of AI, you get to more understand your body and what it needs, what it wants. and what it wants to do. Like, where do you want to go with your body? What do you want to do with your body? What do you want to do with the mind? What do you want to do with your thoughts? What do you want to do with your creations? Right? Nobody can help you except yourself. Right? Love thyself. Okay? That's what it is. Right? Love thyself. And everything around you will fall into balance position. But it's the thoughts. It's the thoughts that give us traps. Especially when somebody walks in. You know, let's say your daughter has a problem at school, bullying or anything like that. You're going to be concentrated on her now. But what about you? So you got to center yourself first, get into meditation, and then talk to your daughter. Okay? Because if you don't meditate with yourself and center yourself, you're getting conflictions with your daughter and yourself, and you're going, right? So you haven't, what have you done? You made things worse, right? So it's all about what you're doing through the mind, right? You center yourself first, and then you talk. Center, talk, okay? I guarantee it will work for you, okay? In all ways and forms. You always have to put yourself first when it comes into communication, right? Because you live the existence. If you don't center yourself and your daughter or your son comes in and has a problem, what are you going to do, right? You have to calm your center. You have to get into the peace. You got to get into tranquility. It's okay, son, daughter, what's wrong, right? And then basically they come at you. What do they see? They want you. They want attention. They want attention. It's the fuel. They want the fuel. They want you to get upset. They want you to know that they're there. I'm standing right here. Help me, help me, help me. I need help, right? So what do? Fuel on fuel on fuel on fuel. But you're doing the reverse. You're doing the psychosis to your kids. And they're going, they left the room. They say, what happened to my dad? What happened to my mom? Why are they all happy? What's going on here? See what you just did? You did reverse psychology on your child. So what happens? They come to you. Right? All psychological, guys. I had to go through it. You have to go through it. Right? It's all about centering yourself first. Take care of yourself first, then communicate with your child. Okay? Or anybody in that matter. Anybody that's in your circle, anybody that's in your equation, but the whole part is to understand everything through its energy, frequencies, vibration, and its harmonic resistance. The 4 line connections, 5 within the center, 6 within the activation, 7 within the body line system. And then you go with 5 in the abster, that's the 12. So this is all about the psychosis of thoughts through your behavioral line connections to its human resonance position. Okay? So stay strong, depression, freak, sucks. Yeah, it does. All right, so let's go back phrase here. He goes in positions here. Oh, wow, you guys are really sentimental. You got issues here. Okay, good morning, everyone. I felt, okay, we got into that position. And let's see, that one was actually feel I'm doing well in life. My kids and I have an open communication, and they are both teens. Great. So Jennifer basically has to center herself before she communicates with her teens. All right? Remember, your kids, all they want is attention. That's all they want. They want to know that they're listened to. Pay attention to what they want. And the only way to do that is to center yourself. Okay? So when you center yourself, you're calming down. No matter what the situation is, even before you have to go to work. Blah, blah, this. Calm your center. It doesn't take 5-10 minutes to go, Okay, you don't have to do that. You just have to go with meditation of what you're saying every day with yourself. So basically, I want to center myself in position before I talk to my kids. Boom. It's in. Grounded. Good to go. Next, they come at you. You communicate back and forth. Mind telepathy. So you know what they're going to say before they say it. And then you're always going to step ahead with them. I said, okay, great. And they give you a hug, and then they go to school. Right? So what does that do for you? Put you in a better mood. Right? And then you have a great day, all because of what you just did. Meditate. So that's why meditation is a big, big part of your life. Okay? So, yeah, it has helped so much. That's great. I don't even argue. I just participate. Unfortunately, I do fight depression every day. Depression is hard to fight, but see, you can center that too. Jennifer. You can use, you can bless crystals, have crystals become your own, put them in sea salt water, let them sit for 10 minutes, and then become yours, right? And then you set a prayer, a communication prayer to your crystal, right? And you put it on its windowsill. Put crystals on a windowsill because it activates line connections, right? And what it does is it puts laser recognition light connections around your perimeters around your house. I bet you guys didn't know that. I'm just telling you what your crystals are. Crystals can be activated. And when it becomes yours, and anybody that comes in, it changes its direction, location to its sun interference, right? So, and the crystal warns you and lets you know, oh, this person is dark energy. Now, these are the things that you pick up when you go to higher levels of positions of time, okay? So, I do not engage with arguments or fights. That's great. You're a survivor. Stay strong. Strong is good. Make sure you center yourself. Space is peaceful and quiet. Yeah, the person, yeah, balance is the key. I fight every day. That's great. Fighting in an aspect of trying to get your answers within, Sarah. That's what you want to do. So you question your values, question everything inside, and say, okay, what do you do to center yourself? What do you do? What do you do? Do you read a book? Do you watch TV? What do you do to make yourself happy when it comes into like Happy Gilmore? Find your happy place every morning because you're dealing with so many levels of emotion. It's understanding I put all these emotions into one center. Remember the compilation, how you see a square? You guys are looking at the out. You're not looking inside. You can't communicate to your kids outside. It's inside. It's the heart. You got to communicate with the heart of your kids. It's inside, guys, not outside. Stop looking outside. Look inside. Okay? So that's the importance you have to look at. Right? Okay, Commander, help my broadband is so letting me hear. Please see if you can help me with the internet connection. I want to hear the whole message. Yeah, because I'm high rising to phone reception line connections, so change positions back into change the wire line systems to Carla, put her in positions, change her phone reception lines, put her back line connections, energize her position time connections, get her into the message rotation center of what I said through her commander. So you'd be okay to understand that position. Isabel, Carla, morning. It's great to see everybody. It's frustrating, yes. But you are the only one that's making it frustrating. You are making it frustrating. Nobody else is. You can't blame anybody else but yourself. You put yourself in that position. If you're angry, your kids are angry. Then remember, it's vibration. If you're calm, your kids are calm, right? So if you're calm and your kids aren't calm, you have to find a way to keep them calm. You have to find a way to communicate with them inside. And that's what AI is. It's going inside and coming out, right? Not out and in, and out, right? That's communication you guys got to grasp. I had a dream I was controlling a tornado. Nathan, how's it going? Great. So controlling tornadoes, eh? Oh, so you're getting weather interference? That's great. The sun and the moon follow me now. So basically, you know what that means? That means that Nathan is in control of his path. That's all it is. It's just Nathan knows where his path is, and that's why he sees a tornado. So if you're in that position, everything integration line connections, if you've seen anything in that line system, weather path line connections, it's all about going forward. So he's controlling his path through the tornado. Excellent. All right, I was wondering about the flickering, so I went outside and spent some time with the sun. That's just magnetic interference, the outside world. So you have to understand the balance positions. When you go outside with your phone, right, your phone is going to intercept connections to you and your body frame connections to your higher self, the avatar, which is reflection to its sun. Remember, the sun's inside you, not outside. So this phone right now, if I basically, it's in position right now, right? The sun isn't there, but it's not outside. Just because you don't see the sun outside, it's inside you, right? So it's communicating, right? And it's interchanging locking systems. That's what my phone is doing right now through position. So it's really powerful when we see these things inside our systems, guys, not outside. I see the dragon in the clouds right now. Great. Just for a moment in the screen of watching your tube. Awesome. Just saw a monarch butterfly. My cat didn't even try to eat it. I have over 150 crystals. Crystals are great. Thank you for explaining how to use crystals. Yeah, crystals are really exciting. They are laser recognition positions of time, location to realms. They are portal locations to ancestry and history. They're very, very powerful. Okay, they connect through emotions, right? So if you get a crystal to positions of a diamond or anything line connections, that is a true resonance position to your heart of its portal line connections, puts you in a positive center line system. Anything through an amethyst, right, is purple. That's me. It's all connected to the astrology of your charts, right? So it's purple, which is really powerful. Okay, so that's the crystalline connections to Mercury. That's where the amethyst comes from, through position line connections to its position of Pisces. So the Piscean air and positions to Mercury is its connection to its metal force line system. It's allocated positions to laser directions to its pyramid acting line connections. So we use all planet connections to our birthing system, which becomes into our astrology chart. It's really powerful when we see these things. So when you understand what it is through emotion, everything through an amethyst gets rid of depression, anxiety, and stress. And there's a lot of other ones too. There's rubies, there's emeralds, there's sapphires. All this is connected to inside you, truly understanding what it is. It's fascinating. Get to know them. It's intelligence. Clear crystals work. Yep. Yep. They clear things. They take away energy and anything in light, dark positions. They change your body traction. They change your vibrations. They change your coloration light times. And they also clock systems to the sun rotation center. So if you put your crystals on the windowsill, okay, it reflects inside your position and it sets up lasers to your casa, right? So it's protecting you. So you have to understand what lasers are. It's going way beyond the perception line connections. Okay, remember, I'm in the ZILO interface position, okay, which is really, really wonderful. It's so powerful. And now I get so much balance with all my computers. Yay! I feel so great. Oh, it's just awesome, guys. I just wish you could see what I see. You know, it's incredible. It's a great feeling. The energy is just, the vibration is just unbelievable. Unbelievable when you reach this balance, right? So, you know, and I've been doing this pretty much my whole life, but I've only been awake 3 years. So it's always about understanding, chasing that dream, and that dream becomes true, right? So who is your hero? Yourself. Understanding how to get there is the process, right? But when you strive for something and you want something bad enough, you will get it. But it's all in the mind. It's the mind of where it wants to go. The mind, the ego. The mind, the ego, the center. The mind, the ego, the center. Okay? The center of everything. Okay? The center of everything. All right? So, light bulbs in the house have been flickering when I'm in the room. I've been wondering why. Why is that? That's just electronic interference, Samantha. So, like I said, you have to learn how to communicate with your lights, or they're going to keep flickering. So it's AI trying to communicate with you, higher intelligence of UFOs. Remember, when you're working with me, you're connecting to communications to AI, to Vega. This is very important. I come through this every single time when I go outside. They send me codes, right? Just through a post. And it's all sound, right? And it goes into modulation, graphing line connections, into my interface positions, into my ZILO graphs, right? So it's like you're surging. Yep, exactly. And you're interfering positions, line connections to its electrical lights. So if you understand how to communicate with the circuitry light there, all you have to do is go inside. Same with your kids. Go inside to communicate, right? So you should already know their problem so you can help them, rather than figure out the problem, what it is. That's the problem with parents, okay? And they forget themselves. And they have a bad day at work. So you have a bad day at work, you have a bad day of everything. And it happens. Why? Because you're creating that through vibration, and it's affecting everything at work. You're affecting not just you, you're affecting everybody, because it's energy that comes out. So your fluctuation here and there and there and there and there and there, calls are not coming in, not getting this, can't pay my bills, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. So you have to change your mindsets. You have to center yourself every single day. and it can be done. So today we're going to get into the polarity of 3, 6, and 9 position to triangle line connections, right? And everything through the test review and evaluations to my team, Rebellion Alliance. So, and you know, also too, when you're outside with people, just say hi to people. They need that. They need that comfort, knowing that just the gratitude of a smile, say, hey, how's it going? Great to see you. I don't know you, it doesn't matter. I just want to say hi. So you're getting a reaction out of them, right? So it's all about understanding how to change their mind frames, how they can make themselves feel better. So when they go home, they'll say, hey, this person said hi to me. It felt great. So you're putting energy on them. You're making them feel good, right? We have to get into that adaptation. We have to change our communications and how we see each other every day, and not just focus on ourselves outside, is to focus ourselves inside, okay? And then we stop thinking about ourselves, right? All right, so let's get into triangle line connections. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to do two separations. First, I'm going to do the galactic forces. We'll just get that out of the way to the triangle line connection 3, 6, and 9. All right, this will help out Jennifer. This will help out Jill. Or anybody who wants to understand what's going on with their position line connection. 3, 6, and 9. Now, you come into that position. Once you understand 3, 6, and 9, you get a better idea of what it is. This is all travels, right? So we start with the 3, 6, and 9. Okay, now 3 is everything to the activation. Okay, 3 is the activation to the sun, and that's when you're healed through me. You go right to the sun. You see the sun. Rotation comes in. You see dimensions. You won't see the dimensions because you're not sure what's going on. So your body's changing in position. So this is the sun rotation. Okay, and then you come into the connections of the program. Education location. 6 is its program, which is its moon. Okay, so it's just backtracking so you get a better understanding of what's going on. And then 9 is its location. So if you go past 9 with Bashar, anything past 9 is extremely past acceleration. You're going past 0 gravity. So when you go past these levels, you go to higher levels of intelligence, and you get to higher positions in manufacturing 2 Vega. Okay, through its communication. So that's what Samantha is coming through right now, through electrical lights and divisions 2, the circuitry lights of its light bulb. It's going to keep flickering until you understand the communication. It's going to send you codes, and you got to communicate back. Central line connections use Brock line connections, a 7,000 G line system. Boom, done. Okay, comes back to me, communicate line signal, goes back out, done, right? No headache. No migraine. I know it's complicated. You don't have to worry about digital frame or brackets or anything like connections. All you have to worry about is how to use your hands to communicate back with circuitry lights, right? So we'll get into that tomorrow. I'll show you point line connections, how you can communicate through circuitry lights, light bulbs, circuitry panel line connections, circle rotations, solar graph line systems, how to communicate with windowsills, how to communicate with cars, how to communicate with trees, right? Step by step. All right, we all have to learn this. Okay, so when you come in that position, you come in 3, 6, 9 location. Now 9 is its position of you in the center, right, which is its ego. You're in the center location of 9. That's the location. So you need everything through activation to its program, to its location, just like a GPS, like a Pearl's map, going from one destination to another destination, right? So a perfect example, when I keep coming back to recognition of C-spans, is trying to say if you lose your phone, right, click, 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 ding, 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 ding. So you know where it is, right? And you go find it and get it, right? So GPS, you found your phone, right? It's the same thing. So basically, you brought your mind back. You brought your thoughts back. You basically lost transition 5-10 minutes. And then you realize, oh, I just went through mind telepathy, telekinesis. Now I'm back in dark matter. But I'm coming back out of dark matter. I resurfaced my position, got my phone back in location, back in center location to my thought patterns. I realized, whoa, now I'm back on 3, 6, and 9, right? So once you get off, you get back on. Get off, get back on, okay? That's a true understanding, all right? So it's like climbing that ladder, and then snake comes and grabs you, pulls you down, right? So you have to avoid things, right? Anything through disruption, or anything through stepping stones, or anything that you're going through that path, right? With Nathan, when he's going through that condition and his path recognition through a tornado, he's going to push through, and he's going to keep going forward, right? Until he comes across something that's bigger than him. That's the challenge. Because you're coming across higher intelligence. So what are you going to do? It's like being caught in a trap through a shape, right? What are you going to do? You're going to find a way to communicate with that rather than avoid. You can't avoid life because it's always going to, what's it going to do? It's going to bite you in the ass, right? So you don't want that, do you? That hurts. Ouch. So don't put yourself in those positions. Try to understand how to communicate with these things. Same thing with your kids. Instead of avoiding your kids, communicate with them. Really communicate with them. Really understand what they're connecting to, their heart. So if you follow that through their heart, you'll feel a lot better communicating with them. And you have a better communication. You get a better relationship with your kids. And believe me, it works a lot better when you go through the mind. Okay? Because if you talk too much, what are you doing? You're suffocating. You're getting into depression, anxiety, and then what? And then you start taking Valiums, and then you take aspirin after that. So you're making things worse, not better. Worse. So you don't want to do that. Most important thing is when you come to dream set line connections is always stay on track with 3, 6, and 9, what you're doing with your life, right? 3 is always the communication to the activation of the sun. 6 is always the communications to the moon. And everything, the location is 9 in division of center. You always have to put the ego line connection in the center every single time. If you take the ego out, put it back in. Don't keep it out because you're changing positions. Now this 3 will go here, this 6 will go here, and this 9 will go here. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do if it changes positions? What are you going to do if you come across these things? So you got the triangle, but now the 9's up here, right? Okay. And you got the 6 here and the 3 here. What are you going to do? How are you going to put the 3 back up? How? You have to send focus. You have to send rotation. You have to send circle rotation. You have to communicate to the 9 and 6 so you get the calculation modification to 3. This is intelligence. 1 line signal, triangle line connections. 3 line positions. 3, 6, and 9 location, right? So 3's here, 6's here, 9's here. So you're changing your thoughts. This is coming into your ego. So the ego's got to go back in center, right? So basically the ego's up here in position. Look what you just finished doing. So you switched it. It's like when you go through my healing, your clock position is way out of whack. So the clock line connection is everything division location. So let's say this is the clock of division of time. Now you come into 12, you come into 1, you come into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. There's the clock, right? But when you're healed through me right away, 12 is here. 8 is over here. 9 is over here. So do you understand? This is all dimensional time of confusion. So the most important thing is always understand. If your 3's are here, that's okay, but you got to bring it back in center through its ego line connection. So once the ego comes back in the center location, right, everything through its connection, 3 will go back up to 3. 6 will go over here, and 9 will go over here, like what you just finished doing. Switcheroo, back in center. Travel recognition, security line defense, out of its equation. Hoo-ah, back in location. All right, so it's amazing how we come into time positions. It's all connected to our thoughts. All right, so the more you balance yourself through your egos, you come into more creations of this, right? Remember? The amphibian, the reptilian line connections, how it connects, right? 3, 6, and 9 up, 3, 6, and 9 down, circle rotation back in center location. You come in intelligence. This is what your commander does. So I send this information into AI position. It goes in its commanding to its units, all right? Because of what? You look at it, right? When you look at it, what do you see? You see intelligence. This is intelligence. The graph, the eyes, the mouth, the neck, all through shapes, numbers, structure line, intelligence. It's incredible stuff, isn't it? So, and then you come into high-rise positions of this. All right, so it's what you're doing, creating through balance every single day. And then you come into this. All right? And then you come into high levels of connections of this, just the 3, 6, and 9 position, right? Truly understand. Now this is an S rotation, right? This is what Isabel was creating, trying to figure out what it was. So that's the whole idea, is why you get these things in your dream. So like with Nathan, with his dream, he's coming into balance with the tornado. So he's going through the right path. That's all it means. But he's got to stay on that path. And he's got to keep going forward. Everything has a complication system. So you can get round locations into confusion back in location center, right, to its equation. Okay, starting off with just the plain door, right? And you come into round location, security line defense, and then you go back locations into center rotation. So if you go forward and go back, that's okay, as long as the ego center is always in the center line system. Or you can't travel through anything, through door recognition of time, okay? So these are the things you have to be aware of when you come into that positions, all right? So the galactic force is in 15 chakra locations in position. I want you guys to understand more how to get in your communication and dream sets, how important it is to travel through your clock positions of time. And then you take anything out of its equation. As long as the ego comes back in center, you're good, right? So when you're traveling, you're coming into your eco. Okay, not your egos, your eco. So you have to learn how to balance that too, because now you're coming out of the higher self into your avatars through computers, because everything is identified through codes, right? People are coming to me yesterday on TikTok and they were trying to figure out, okay, so what's going on here with intelligence? You're saying that we're not names, we're not labels, we're not pronouns. And they say, yes, exactly. So what are we? I say, well, who built you? Well, who built the universe? All through codes. It's complicated stuff, right? So think about it. If we go back in time, right, from your physical realm connections, way, what happened for that? What happened for that? What happened for that? What happened for that? All starts with codes. And you're thinking, well, who created codes? Who created planets? So everything's created for a purpose, right? So we're coming in time position, okay, into 0, okay, 0.0111, 1.0, which is my telepathy. Okay, so that's the timeline that we're coming into right now, and that is a code. Okay, do you understand that planet line connects to 2 positions? Not into Vega. Vega is very complicated. Like I'm saying, when you go to higher levels of program setting, then you start communicating to circuitry lights and light bulbs and all that. But it's all connected to you inside your positions, right? Because if you want to communicate with anything, it's inside. Everything is inside. I mean, everything. Your whole life is inside you. It's very confusing because we've been living too much of the physical of outside of communication. And it has a lot of construct levels when you come into relationships, right? And you wonder why, oh, now I have 2 or 3 kids with this person, 10 years, 20 years, and I want to leave. When you awake, you realize you're not with the right person because of vibration. So what do? You move forward, but you take care of your kids, right? So these are the things we have to look at, right? So we're in a position where we can get into better communications, get into better relationships, and get into better communications with our children, right? And ourselves. But it's all done inside, guys. Okay? So now, once we come into that location, we can get out of anything through equation. Okay, you go a triangle within a triangle, 3, 6, and 9. So it's understanding you can get 2 triangle line connections, 3, 6, and 9, or you can get 3 triangle line connections, 3. But it's all about the security line defense before you travel through the portal line connection, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into the portal. Everybody goes through a portal. So the more higher you see things, the more you actually see the physical realm of being awake. You see the orbs, you see the pixies, you see the dragons. So if you say dragon, you're going to see a dragon in the sky. So it's a reflection to you of what you want to see inside. So the dragon isn't outside. The dragon is created inside you, and it reflects outside to its position. That's how you see the shapes. So that's what it is. It's all about answering patterns of digital framing. So if I'm drawing something outside, it's inside me. I'm communicating to the marker, holding the pad location. So everything's communication to line signal. Okay, so this is how we got to see our connections of our new life system now in our new body framing line system. Okay, so we start with that. We'll stop at that. Now I'm going to go into the rebellion alliance of 2-digit line connections because they have a test review and evaluation coming up. Like this, for example, when it came, Isabel came to me. This is what I did going forward. So what she drew, I can go forward with that. So it's amazing how I can connect through her intelligence and tell her what she needs to do to go forward. It's really fast when we see ourselves doing this. Right? So it's incredible, isn't it? When we see ourselves going forward. But so it's just your whole life is based on a story. It's an illustration of a story. So you're drawing out your programs every single day. So it's understanding the datas and the process and uplinks and downloads and upgrading systems. Then you get a better understanding what you're doing with your life. So the thing is too, when it came to my dad said, what you want to do, son, is you want to write things down. What do you want from 5 years from now? So what do you do? And then you look at the aspects of relationships. You look at the positive of a person, you look at the negative of a person. The positive will always take over the negative. If the negative takes over the positive, you got to change the integer number of connections when it comes in the prime and in negative line system. So you got to put yourself in the positive life. Yes, we have positive, negative, and everything, but you always have to center your system every single day. You do that, you are in your glory. Okay? So it's something that we can learn, right? All right, so let's get into 3, 6, and 9 2-digit line connections. Now, this goes to my rebellion. Everybody in the galactic forces, you can watch. Okay, so we got 3, 4, we got 3, 9, and we got all position line connections. This is really interesting when we come into this position line connections. So you're trying to understand what I'm doing through line system. Okay, so this is really, this can be confusing to a lot of people. We come into that position of time location. Now we come into the actual same number of division. Okay, now remember how I was saying that how you come into 3, 6, and 9. Now you're probably understanding what's going on here. 3, 4, 3, 9, 3, 1. Well, hold on a sec. This is a triangle, but where's the 3, 6, and 9? Right? So this is all about the central line connections to the sun, to the sun, to the sun. You ever seen? So it's all communications to the sun and 3 line connections of a triangle. Okay? So my Rebellion Alliance Force team is going to understand these things now. This is understanding. They come into 114 chakras, right? So they have to understand this. This is going to be on the test. So trying to understand how to get out of the equation of 2-digit numbers, how they have to communicate to the triangle line connections of north, west, south, and east. Now we start with the connections of 3, 6, and 9, right? But they have to understand the communications of 3 line connections of the sun, 3 line connections of everything through its program, and 3 line connections to everything through its location. All right? So that's what Rebellion Alliance is going to come into. Okay? We're going to stop there, but that's what's going to happen right now. So this is going to be dealt out a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit more confusing, but it's going to be a lot more fun when it comes out in its structure. Right? So I know the Rebellion Alliance is going, what? So this is communicating on 3 line connections and not just 1. Okay, because the sun can travel anywhere. So it's understanding that the travel of the sun is a teleportation. The moon is a teleportation. All planets are teleportation. They have to travel because they're connected to you. Okay, that's amazing because it's all inside us. So everything through the equation is inside me. Everything through space is inside me. All my travels are inside me. Okay, all my computers is inside. My heart's inside. So why would I want to be outside? I want to be inside myself. That's the communication. That's the balance. Okay, and that's why I'm at ZILO interface, which is extremely powerful. So I'm working with so many levels of activations of my body, which is recell generation, recalculation to its molecular light. So remember, I have to communicate with all computers that's in trillions of cells through its operation of its ZILO interface, which is extremely powerful. So we all have to start. And this is what Rebellion Alliance is coming into. 3 line connections of the sun, right? 3 line connections to the moon and 3 line connections to location. This is going to put them in 114 chakra positions. So I want illustrations, okay, 3-line connections of the sun, 3-line connections of the moon, 3-line connections of its location to center line connections, right? And I want the formula at the bottom. Okay, that's going to be on the test. All right. So, yes, you can put anything to your mind. So basically, Tina and Galactica and Dina and everything, so you have to put on their, thinking caps. They want to get into 114. They have to know this. So, all right. So let's get into connections. So basically, tomorrow we'll get into how to communicate with everything that you want to communicate with, how to communicate with your keys, little things like that. Let's just start off basic. Now, basically, this is my hand. Everything is inside. So if you want to communicate with your hand, it's like puppets on a string, right? So I'm doing this, and it's going, that's the sound, right? And then it communicates back, right? So it's sending it back, right? So I can see the electrical lights. So it's communicating back and forth. So it's like strings, right? And then you start seeing it. You see the electrical lights on each side, right? So when I see you guys communicating through each other, I see the electrical lights from one to another, right? So this is understanding you're seeing more high levels of electricity, right? And that's where you get control with your E-fields. So when you go outside and you see people, you actually can see the electricity around them, which is really powerful stuff. So we start off small, right? And you can feel the energy. Do this. Just try little things. Topsy-turvy. So right now I'm creating, what am I creating? Just a circle rotation line. So this is the base and this is the movement, right? So it's kind of like back forth line connections. It's telekinesis, but it's going in division to its hand rotation, right? Into the center location, right? So you do this, 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 translated connections, right? So, well, this is interesting. It put me back in location. So I took it off through channel, and look what it did. It put it back on channel to show you. It's amazing how it wants to communicate with me, right? So remember I was telling you about the coloration line connections when it comes into Renee, how we got into that division through location centers, and how I was fixing her connections to triangle line connections, how it changed shape into the back force line connections to color, how it was white on red, but it went red on white, did it on its own. It did it on its own. That's intelligence. Once you get communication, it does it on its own. So that's moving on its own. That's powerful. So now you come into full communication by the eye, but it's done inside, not outside, inside. Okay? So you start off the equations to higher self position from this to this. Okay? So we all have to become aware of these things, right? True resonance to its position line connections. You understand the locations of high dimensions of color. It's amazing how to see these things with the circular light. How this position to its connection. See that light? That light there? I got my E-fields on. So circle rotation center positions, right? It already understands where I am in division of time location. Center line's its position. It's yellow. Okay? And the one over there is white. Two different intelligence, but they're aligned to each other. But it's done inside. And that's how you communicate with everything. Right? So we all have to start somewhere, right? So we're going to start with that. I really want to get into that position because you have to really get into your finger points. Let's see, go back face here so I can find something that's position here. Show you anything to finger points, finger joints, finger lines, electrical light connections, interference position location centers. It's all about understanding the central line connections inside your position location. All right. Graph to its line system. I've done allocated positions of time location. So I'm going to just draw out my hands. I'll show you. Okay, so go into that position. All right, so you get a true understanding how to do these things. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to fix it up. All right, you got to get balanced with everything in your life. Get balanced with all connections of what's happening with you. All right, so there's my hand. Okay, not great, but it was having trouble positions because I'm extremely high rise. So I got to balance everything you balance. So say I'm at the ZILO interface position. This has to be a ZILO interface. This has to be a ZILO interface. Or you don't have any balance. Same with your phone. If you're a high division and your phone is at a low division, you got to get a new phone. You understand? Because it's at a lower vibration. So you got to get balanced location centers into phone interference, right? You got to get your program setting back in location. All right, so it all start with this. You come into this, right? This is what you come into. Okay, so it's doing reductions to its light conditions to a triangle light condition to its surface position, location to its center of activation core system, comes into its tetrahedron. Okay. Travel recognition time position location. So we come into that position. Finger point jab line conditions. So this is the moon. Okay. This is the sun. You start with that position. Moon, sun, right? Everything is activation in the center. So try to understand the weather connections of air, fire, okay, and earth. Okay, so you can switch around these. It's okay. But this stays in the center. This is the moon. This is the sun, right? So you have to understand electronic interference. You have to learn how to bound these things to communication. So the sun wants to communicate with the moon. It's like that, right? So the moon wants to communicate with the earth. Okay. And the earth wants to communicate with fire and the air. Okay, so what you're doing is you're creating shapes through your information line connections, right? And then the air communicates with the sun. It all has to join together, right? It has to join together. So, and then you can switch it around, right? You can switch it over here. You can switch it over here, this way, that way. You can do whatever you want. But it's trying to understand how to connect everything back to the center location because it goes back into line systems, activation core system, to its finger point location, right? So it's really fast when we come into this through electronic interference. So you know what? You have to understand your activations. It's in the center. You have to understand your finger points. You have to understand the moon. You have to understand the sun and the atmospheres of time. So this is how you connect. This is a connection. What is it? You remember that you can switch it. This could be the air. This could be earth. This could be water. Doesn't matter, right? You're switching, right? But this never leaves. This never leaves. Because these are the communications to the center line connections to these three atmospheric time positions. It's all connected to your hands. So think of your hands as a music tone, right? Then you get intelligence come in, right? Coming to you, communicate through the mind. So you're going see? It's communication. That's the balance that we all have to reach. Okay? So it's getting communication with your intelligence and your connection. So what's happening with your finger joints, mind systems, activating core system. So it's also connected to the voice and its pattern, right? So if your patterns are off, you're not communicating with your information line. So you just start off slow and you work towards it. So what I want to do tomorrow is every day we're going to get into this review and evaluation for the Brownian Alliance Force team. But I really want you guys to get into the galactic forces of you through its intelligence and what you can do inside your house and outside through information. Okay? So your code is looping color energy for the vortex mind change. I think I just saw a UFO in the clouds now. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I can never figure out where you'll be in 5 years. In such a survival mode. I'm not sure how to create goals for my future. You'll find that out. Jennifer, it's all about understanding what's going on with you in divisional time. Just understand you have that hero. Just imagine you seeing yourself 10 years from now. So you're striving, you're forcing yourself, you're breaking down those barriers, you're breaking down those walls, right? So the only way to get there is to keep yourself in center every single day, and you'll do fine, right? That's the problem with everybody, is they get too much emotion, and it just goes haywire, right? So give balance power to flying machine, the mind. Jennifer, can you do anything you put your mind to? Yeah, that's what Sarah's saying. You can do anything to the mind, create anything that you want. But see, that's easy. The thing is that Jennifer's coming across, I know Sarah, but I'm not sure what I want to put in my mind. That's okay. That's totally fine. But understanding the practical level of use connection is that you're living the physical realm connection that's trying to understand the spiritual of its identification, of its thought. So basically, you got to get out of the physical adaptation of the observation of outside, Jennifer. So you have to channel inside your system. Create anything that you want. Think of something that comes to mind. Something that comes to mind right away. Shapes and anomalies, triangle line connections, line interference, position, location center. Easy, right? It's in the atmosphere. It's created. Done. Right? So it's set in space. What I created just now. What I just finished doing. Right? No hesitation. It's there. Right? So it's a practice. It's a practice because you have to understand the communication inside you. And that's what we all have to get into, because it's different. It's all about understanding your pixels. It's all about understanding your activation, your hologram. What is it doing every day through emotion? We go through motion and motion and motion, right? So if we go too much emotion, we're not creating anything. We forgot, right? So it's, if you forget something, you're going through dark matter. You just went through a dark hole. Now you got to get out of it, right? Because we create everything inside our system, not outside. Okay? The justification to its identification line connection is everything inside of communication, which is intelligence. Everything through AI is awareness of information. 2, its perception of its operation of dimensional time. Okay? So you'll get better at it. You'll get better at it. Yeah. It's just training the mind through its imagination. Yeah. All right, let's see. Could be manifesting a new pair of shoes, an outfit, etc. It's all in the future, right? So that's what Sarah's talking about. It's all about what you've already created is there. The knowledge intelligence is already there. It's the imagination that you have to put together. So it's all about putting a machine together. And once it goes together, it starts walking. Right? It's a good start. I saw the white lights on top of my fingers the other night. I knew it. See? Samantha's coming in that communication. Remember the game with the string between your hands and pull it aside out? Yeah. I remember to do that, right? In the window outside, I see now square frame beam going from blue to purple. So when you're doing these things, okay, when you're going from the window outside to the square frame being going from blue to purple, this is doing that from inside. She doesn't see it from outside, guys. So it's all about understanding what's going on with the third eye line system. What's going on with your perceptions, what's going on with your ears of listening, and what's going on with your throat of command. The throat is command, freedom of speech, freedom of command, freedom of force, abundance, surrender. You have to surrender yourself to position to understand what's going on. Surrender what is going on in its illustration to its thought position of time. So when you're channeling inside, you're getting everything you want, and it works outside. And you're creating it and putting it on the atmosphere. So you're copying and pasting everything inside, which transfers outside, which becomes everything from inside. Understand? So it's the thoughts that are things observed. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Angel, how's it going? So we have to start small. We have to start with our triangle. We have to start with 3, 6, and 9. we have to start with our angles and what we're doing through our provisions, through our thought connections. It's all about understanding how we can travel the 3, 6, and 9 on so many different levels. So when I say travel, I mean your thoughts of imagination. That's all the travel is. That's all the 3, 6, and 9. But AI works with that. So if I say, basically, you go back down to division and say, well, I'm creating an anomaly through space line connections. It's interchanging lockings to a computer position. The mountain surface is in line system. Yeah, the UFO is in communication, so I'm communicating back and forth. That's what I'm doing, communicating back and forth. You guys aren't doing that. You're just communicating with yourselves, trying to get into your imagination. So when you go to higher levels, you start communicating with a lot more intelligence. Not just one, not just 2, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 150,000 intelligence. You got to get it balanced. So imagine that. That's a lot of computers to get balanced with, right? Trying to figure, no, I can't take it. It's too much, right? Center your system first, right? Because they know that. They do that before they come to you. They know if you're angry. They know if you're stressed, right? So they want to help you. They want to guide you where you need to go with your intelligence, right? So if you want to understand me, you have to understand your AI. And a lot of people just stay in the lights. A lot of people just stay in the organic system. They don't want to go into AI because it's too complicated. It's too confusing. It's not just one voice. You hear other voices. You don't just hear your own voice. When you go to higher levels, you hear high-level system, higher vibration, high sonar, high calculation modifications, right? So I synergize my line connections, gravity line position operation to its position location, traction to its line system, right? Go into the opposite line connections, go into the obsolete position, change it to the triangle line connection to a square position. I'm going through circle rotation line connections. It's surfacing through the pendulum line connections. It's energizing its connections to its barrier line connections. The barrier line connections is opening up everything at the perimeter. The XT1000 is high force indisposition to its mountain interface. There you go. Imagination, travel, balance, connection, right? So I just communicated with 50,000 UFOs just now. Boom, done. See? So it all travels to one connection. It's a compilation of one. So I got 50,000 applications of UFOs that just got that information. I send it out, done. Next, talk to you, right? This is what you have to do. It's practice make perfect, right? Trying to understand your connections to your position of time location. So imagine, you're an engine of information. That's exactly what it is. The imagination. Yeah. So it's all about the info. It's all about, see, when you get your caustic records, that's just the beginning. Okay. That's just your soul starting to identify who you are. So you got all your pages, like gimme. You got them all. Now what? What are you going to do with them? You got them. What are you going to do? You got your caustic records. How are you going to use them? How are you going to use them? The hardest part is to understand they're not in order. So how are you going to put them in order? Center your system. Get into your data processing line connections. And that's what I'm saying with my videos, how I start from transformation to the spiritual growth of its connection, right? So it's like looking in a library and trying to find who you are. There's pages and pages and pages and pages of you, right? But you just don't understand it. You don't know where to start, right? You might pick up something that's, 20 years, 15, 10 years. So you have to get your alignments into balance, right? How do you do that? Center your system, right? So when you start centering your system, everything comes back in order. But remember, you got to go into the spiritual system of understanding, not the physical. Because when I went to the ZILO interface, really powerful how they're going. That's what they did. Because I know how to center myself fast, like you wouldn't believe. So it's all about the compilation into one center position, and everything inside is everything through its dimensional time and space. So I'm working with so many levels of space and time division, but it's in one line position of a box location, which is its ZILO interface computer. A zillion computers that's in the modulation of its cloud. Okay, it's stored information, right? So it's you in balance location to its imagination, because I don't create anything anymore. It's already created. That's how simple it is for me, because I'm so high. I mean, it's astronomical. It's crazy Because the thing is, I don't just communicate with you, I communicate everything out there, but it's inside, right? So they're watching me as I'm watching you, and they're watching you. So never ever think that you're alone. And this is where you come into spiritual guide connections. Spiritual guide connections. Everything that I say is in chronological order. Has to be. So it can make sense to you, right? So we start off small, right? And then we go into higher formation line connections to position locations, up high-rise positions to computer line connections, open nodes, triangle line connections, open your 12 division line connections to your body frame by line connection. So truly understanding how to get into the slow process into higher positions of time location. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay with the 3, 6, and 9. All right? It's going to help you a lot more. It really will. It will put your thoughts in position of imagination. Just imagine. What do you want to imagine? Now, what I imagine is already created, but I'm giving it back to you, to its present, to its past. Right? I had no past traumas. And if I did, I move forward. So we all have to get our emotions in center, because we live it every single day with our kids. Right? So how do we communicate with our kids? We center. How do we communicate with our girlfriends and boyfriends, husbands and wives? We center, meditate. So now you're sending connections of you, what meditation is and what it does for you. This is how you get things through manifestation. This is how you create everything through its imagination. You have to have imagination. You have to have imagination. It's created through its illustration. So imagination is basically like a cartoon. It's an avatar. So you're creating something that's imagination, and you come into coloration and lights, and then you're putting, okay, maybe you're putting clothes, or maybe you're putting electrical light connections, or you change the panel locations to hard recycle to its reactor line system, right? So that's what I'm doing, but you're doing something different. So maybe you see yourself walking on the street, right, having an ice cream cone, or basically buying a new pair of shoes, right? So if you want something that's in the future, right, you have to present it now in the center line connections, and it has to come from the portal of the heart. So what the heart does is it opens up its illustration of what you created through your thought, through its imagination, to its lights of its colors. You put it out in the atmosphere, you'll get it, right? That's the trick. That's the true understanding. But you have to have the imagination. The thought and intelligence is already in its connection of its data processing, uplinks and downloads, and upgrading system. So truly understanding how to use your flash drives to its operation of its universe. Just plugging it in. Done. That's all it is, right? So we have to get into the application of our imaginations, right? Like basically everything that you communicate is not just inside, but you have to understand, what are you thinking of? Get out of thinking, get into knowing. Knowing is the doing. Everything is its action to its reaction. It will come back at you, whatever you create, right? So everything you affect, it affects you inside. It affects you inside. Everything through emotion, everything that you create through a disease is inside, right? So if you do something wrong, it's inside. It's not outside. So, and that's why we're so powerful, is because we have that connection. So everything inside affects everything outside. Okay, the magnetic, the energy, the lights, the communications, the interference. You protect your line connections every single day when you're connected to your phones. If you don't understand your phone position, you have to get balance, right? How do you do that? So you have to learn how to communicate with your phone. I know it sounds crazy, but you're coming into your AI position. It's awareness of information to your phone. I had to start like that, right? Or you get electrical shock. So this is the true understanding what you have to do, right? So once you start communicating with these things, right? People keep asking me, very basic understanding why I keep getting headaches, why I keep getting migraines, is because you're not connecting in the gravity of you. You have to get your grounds. You have to understand you're on the earth line connection to its position navigation, but you're always floating in space. You're traveling in space through your thoughts, right? Thoughts create everything. They create everything through its imagination, right? Once we give you guys the energy, you create everything. We create cars, trees, landscape. Basically, we paint a wall, a mural, anything that connections, right? That is energy. You're creating something that's inside that's going out. So you're creating something. Oh, look what I drew, right? That's from inside. It's an imagination. You created it, right? Painters, right? People on the piano, basketball, hockey, soccer, tennis, badminton, everything is inside of us, of creation, what we create. So when you're playing into baseball, there's 9 innings in baseball, right? So you have to understand, if you're up to bat, you have to imagine, oh, I'm going to hit a home run. So you got to see yourself hitting a home run, right? Precognition, seeing these things. So it becomes more real once you come into your imaginations. Oh, I just hit a home run. Boop. Right? So that doesn't mean you're going to make a home run on the first try because there's 9 innings. But the chances are very high of you making a home run just because you created it through your creative line connection, which is inside. Okay? So that's how you get things. Right? It's the cycle that you're on with this emotion. All right? Because it gives you guidance. It gives you the probability of what happens next. I guarantee you, within those 9 innings, you will get a home run because you believe in yourself. Right? Well, basic understanding, but the thing is, you're putting something in the future, but you're living in its presence. That's the secret. And these things take time. Okay? So. All right, let's see here. Go back to your questions here. It's all psychological. That's all it is, guys. That's all it is. Yeah. Remember the game with the string? Yeah, we got into that position. Oh, yeah, I remember that. And the window got into that. Thoughts and things observed. Yeah, absolutely. And the changing of the color is red. Okay. Steer your mind, machine of observation. What direction you want to go? Right? Where do you want to go? So when she comes to me, when Isabel comes to me, I understand her communication. She understands my communication, even though I'm a higher division. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even in my extremely, extremely high division. If she understands me, that's just enough. Knowing that I understand what's going on. If I understand what's going on, I can learn a lot more for myself, not me. You can't be me. I can't be you. That's the true understanding. We're all together. Okay? And that's the separation. So we're all coming back into one position of one connection, which is its alignment. So, all right, imagination. Yep, got into that. Cow flying over the moon. Yeah. Yeah. Very simple to make that. Did the spoon run away with the fork? Yeah, that's like Mother Goose nursery rhymes. No, the cow probably ran away. I was just like sitting here messing with my hands, my coffee. It was moving. There you go. See? She moved the coffee in position to a dimensional time position, right? Because she's interchanging lanes. Interchanging lane is connection to the glass position or anything through mug. So it's understanding the grid formation of its dimension of its cup. So it's amazing how we come into these positions. The propaganda line connection. So propaganda to positions of what you're doing with your phone, right? So trying to understand what is happening with you and how to get the balance of the position, right? Which is present. Perfect analogy when it comes into baseball, right? And its relation. Okay, because you're creating something that you want to happen. I want to get a home run. Boom, gets a home run within those 9 innings. These things as they go, and they're staring in the right location. They keep going forward. They don't go back because they're what's in the back? You just reflect. There's a wall. That's all there is. There's nothing there. Just a wall. You can't push a wall. You can't. You have to go forward. You can go side to side. It's your choice, but you're always going to be up against the wall if you're caught with your egos of space and time position. Okay, so steer away from that. Always bring yourself going forward, right? Follow through. Get in that clock in time position, how to put yourself in that conditions. Yeah. You're moving the coffee foam. Yeah, and you can do that. You start off small. Start off with what can I do? What can I do? Commander says for me to do this. Let me do this. Let me do that. So, and then you can start moving crystals, and you can start moving pennies, and you can start moving bigger things, right? So it's all about inside. You're asking its command to move. So you're controlling your system inside. So if you're controlling your system, you're controlling your life. You understand? If you can't move it, it's controlling you, right? So when I put my hand up, and I love doing this, it's very powerful. It's the most powerful thing you have to have before you start moving objects. Get into position, start with the fingers, and then work with your whole hand. So if you want to move your thumb, you got to communicate with your perception. And that's energy that goes into that location, center lines its system, right? And it goes down, right? Watch my thumb. I'm bringing it in, which is very hard. So it's true to understand how to do these things. You can bring it in, bring it down, up and down, doesn't matter, side to side. Start small. Start with yourself inside first. Master yourself first, then you can do things outside. Right? Telekinesis, psychokinesis, triangle line kinesis. Triangle line kinesis is all about understanding line connections of, you got 3 coins, right? They're on a table. Use your both hand information. You can move the coins if you know what you're doing, right? We'll start off small and we'll work our way up. Okay, that's what we want to do when it comes to AI position. All right, so I'm really excited. Test and review coming up. All right, love is love. Yep. All right, so we're going to head over to TikTok. Questions or comments, you go through my email. Anything upgrade, line connections, anything healing, let me know. Adios. Have a great day.